we are talking about millionaires, or we are talking about jobs that will make you a future millionaire. If you look at the top 50 to 100 billionaires in the world today, most of them are concentrated in one sector. Just go to top 10 billionaires in the world. They are from technology sector, as you know. The richest man today, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, even Bill Gates, who have been there for long, they are all from the technology sector. But the biggest question is, where are future millionaires and billionaires come from? Where will they be minted from? One of the things I would like to share, it's very important to be in the right environment. For you to be able to succeed, it's very important to possess the right skills, attitude, hard work, work ethic, and all those things we all know. But it is also extremely important to be in the right play field, to be in the right environment, to be in the right sector. If you are like me and you are an entrepreneur, you know this is very important. The choice of sector, the choice of business. There are people who are following their dreams, their passions, things that they would really like to do. We also understand them. There are those who want to be musicians, so they can't go to the manufacturing sector, for example. We do understand that. But there are people who really are strategic. They look into the future and they ask themselves, what course should my children do in college so that they have a much better opportunity to be able to get a job? What business should my son do so that they have a much better opportunity to be able to grow, to be able to advance, to be able to conquer this world? All of us want to succeed. Today we'll be talking more about that. Welcome to this show. Remember to subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram, like our Facebook page, and now we are in YouTube Live. This is Reuben Kimani. This is my channel. We are talking about investment. We talk about transformational stories. We want to empower and psych up the young people in our country. Example, Africa is rising every day. We are growing in big numbers. We want to empower especially Kenyan young people to be able to take over this economy. One of the shocking things about Nairobi Stock Exchange, you'll find more than 60%. I think the figure is even much higher of investors, of shareholding is owned by foreigners. We are asking ourselves, why not us? And this is one of the channels we are bringing to you information to be able to tell you that we can also be able to do that. How can we be strategic in this 21st century? How can we know where to place our lot, who cast our lots? How can we know where to hatch our eggs? And you have done a bit of research trying to find out which careers, which sectors of the economy are going to make people very rich, to make or mint the next level of millionaires. The list you see today of the world billionaires, you know the same in the next 10 years. Something else will be able to come up. And it is also very important to prospect. One of the things about IT, for example, in the last 20 years, someone was asked about phones and laptops, and they were wondering how someone would use a phone or even a laptop. But there are people who had already projected, forecasted. They have already researched and the people could see the future. And these are the billionaires of today. These are the millionaires of today. Come back to our country. Of course, we have so many people who have made a lot of wealth in different sectors. Look at banking, for example. I have a good example of the CEO of banks. They make millions of money. A survey by Who Owns Kenya revealed that the group managing director and CEO of Cooperative Bank of Kenya, Gideon Muriuki, he earned a total of 377.3 million shillings in salaries and allowances in 2020. We may not reach, all of us may not reach those ranks. We also have CEOs of Safaricom and all the banks, they earn millions and millions of shillings. So this is a discussion discussing about careers, businesses, and there are people who I keep reminding, you don't need to be an entrepreneur to be able to make a lot of money. These are CEOs of banks. You can rise to those ranks if you wanted. You really have to be strategic and work hard. You earn 377 million. How is that possible in an economy like ours? These are people, individuals who earn salaries bigger than what most SMEs make. You find 377 million. How many SMEs in this country or businesses make that kind of revenue in this country? There are very few. That tells you, you can either choose to be a businessman, an entrepreneur. You can also choose to be a career person in the corporate sector, but you have to be strategic and focused. Which are these sectors? I know some people are watching and listening. The world is changing. There are sectors that have produced very rich and wealthy people in the past. But if you look in the future, some of them will be no more. They will be stagnating. The future of work is in skills. This is according to Elon Musk. Of course, some people question about education. There's no difference between education and skill. Let me demonstrate my point. Some people want to separate, say you can focus on skill or education. Education is supposed to give you skills. The only challenge is there's a good population of people, not just in Kenya, all over the world, who look for education so that they get papers, and a big percentage. As they get papers, they compromise on the skill. People who are employers, like Username Investment, they are looking for people who can be able to move things to the next level. They are looking for people who can be able to give value, people who can be able to serve, people who can be able to innovate, people who can be able to solve daily problems of business, which you did not learn in school. Education is supposed to give you the foundation. It's supposed to give you the substance. It's supposed to give you that skill, so that by the time you graduate, and I keep telling our young people, by the time you graduate with those fantastic papers, which I have also, ensure you have a skills that can be utilized either in business or in a career, because the moment you get your job certificate, what will keep you in that job is the skills. Skills are very important, and I fully agree with my friend Elon Musk. Which careers will these be? What is the next big thing? Let's start with number one. Of course, I'm in real estate. And of course, you expect real estate to be one of it. Of course, it's not the top. This is according to me, according to the research I've carried out. I'm looking at the fundamental factors that will cause this kind of a shift. Fundamental factors that will change the way people make wealth, where people invest, where they make money. One of the fundamental factors, I'll focus more on Africa continent, is population growth. One of the things that business exists, they exist to serve, to meet a certain demand in the market, to solve a certain problem in the market. If you are talking about food, for example, the population is increasing. The number of farmers in our villages are decreasing. We need food. We ate today. We took milk today for most of us. We took some tea. We took some snacks. That is food for you. As the population increases, in Kenya, for example, we are adding 1 million people every year. 500,000 of those people are going to our urban centers. What does this tell you? There are new opportunities that will be created in our urban centers, for example. And that's why Username Investment comes in. We are trying to settle all these thousands and millions of people who are coming to our cities. They need a place they can call home. They need to develop their own home, beautiful houses. Everyone has a dream of that big house, mansionette, villas, those bungalows and stuff like that. I do understand that. And that's what I'm talking about, population growth. The other thing is urbanization, 4.4% in a country like ours. To just bring it home is 500,000 people every year coming to urban centers. Mainly Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, and Nakuru. Nakuru has become a city as well. We are doing serious projects there. You maybe would like to sample them, because we understand people will be concentrated. Go back to the West. I've been able to visit enough countries in the West, even in China. There's a serious migration to the urban cities, centers. And this is also now going to become a big thing in Africa. We'll have the population will even, maybe out of 1 million, you find like 80% of everyone is going to urban centers. That creates new opportunities, and that impacts so many sectors. Let's start from the fundamentals: population growth and urbanization. The other fundamental factor is our economies are changing. This is Africa. We are moving from developed, we are moving from these less developed countries to developing countries very soon. That's why we are building the superhighways. We have roads everywhere. We are trying to rectify, to increase the coverage for education institutions. We are trying to increase our health sector. Basically, we are trying to improve everything by the year. Every successive government will have no option but to keep developing the country, because that's where we are moving. So there is a growing middle class in a country like ours. I know the definition of middle class can change if you look at the West. Somebody who has a lot of money, most of us will not qualify under that definition. But if you look at the middle class in our African context, very important to look at it. This number is increasing. But to say in other terms, people who earn above average incomes, I'm talking about people who earn maybe more than 50,000 shillings, 100,000 shillings, they are increasing by the day. What does that tell you? The number of people who can be able to buy a product or a service is also increasing. The purchasing power has increased. Like for example, if your salary increases, what do? Maybe you decide to buy a new phone. Some people will take a holiday. You'll decide to change the school for your kid. You'll be able to purchase more than you have, maybe an extra sofa set in the house. That is how it works. The number of people increases who earn more money, and their salaries also increasing. Those are three fundamental factors, and they are very important even in the economy. We are looking at growth. You have to look population growth and the percentage of the population of people who can be able to buy things. Is it also growing? So I think the first thing is obvious. The first sector is obvious. This is technology. It has been growing for the last 20 years. That's where you find most of our billionaires been technology field. Personally, I've been trained in computer science, a college degree in that, a good one for that matter, but I'm also in real estate out of interest, not of the opportunities that I can see in our country today. But in the world and also in the African continent, I know technology will be a big thing. This is one of the stories I found in the blogs. This is a young gentleman. He started developing softwares, first with a very small capital. From this blog, this is 15,000 shillings. These are accounting software. Of course, he landed an appointment with Sage. There are people who work there, I have friends there. And this was like 10 years ago. He became an authorized partner. This is a business angle. This guy is able to have revenues of more than 10 million. He has so many customers. These are 10 million per month. This is like 100 million per year, 120 million per year. That's not a small amount. He has big clients over time. That's an example of someone who ventured in the technology. What do we expect? Like I said, population growth, urbanization, and now the growth of middle class. What happens? When we have more population and the urban middle class is increasing, people get more jobs. Number two, these people, if you look at mobile penetration, even mobile money is the highest in the world in our country. I think we are, the last time I checked, I think we are more than 90%. It's not a joke. If you look at other countries, even the developed one, they are less than 80%. You can imagine. That is mobile money. In terms of mobile phone penetration, we are also very high. Number 1 or 2 in Africa. Of course, I think except South Africa or thereabout, we have done so well. So everything we are doing today, including ordering your food, is being done online. You order your clothes online, you order your food online, you attend your meeting via Zoom, you order your taxis online. Basically, everything, including parents' meeting, is being done online. So many things, and that trend is going to continue. Basically, our lives are being automated. Our lives are changing, and they are getting into the online space, and it's become very acceptable. The COVID situation over the last one and a half years or so, it has actually standardized this. It has actually made it a new normal. People have become used to everything. And if you look at username investment in the real estate sector, we have automated, we have automated everything we can, because we understand with your phone. The last time I visited a KPSC office is so many years ago. Even banks, I don't go there anymore. And this is the reality of most people. So our lives are becoming digital. What does that tell you? Opportunities in that sector will keep increasing. And there are so many opportunities. Of course, I cannot be able to highlight all of them. And that's why we tell our young people who are in college today, when you go do that degree or college degree or diploma, whatever, come out with a skill. Don't just come out with a paper. Because there are so many areas in ICT. I've been there. There are people who focus on databases. All banks, all softwares use databases, including Glovo or any other software that you may be able to use. Uber, Litrocab, they use databases. So there are people who focus there. There are people who focus on connectivity. These are networks. You become very good, not on paper, very good, because if you come to username, we'll know. We'll give you a task and you cannot be able to do. There are people who focus on development, especially the modern one. Apps, you have to keep well updated. People are developing apps. There are so many young people who can, like, there's a time we were looking for someone to do a good job in app. It was so difficult to get. Yet we have thousands of graduates every year who are graduating, coming from our university. What that tell you? What we have, the problem we have in Kenya and in most African countries is not the problem of employment, it's problem of employability. If you come out of a university, whichever course you are doing, are you employable? If you're out there and you're looking for a job or a business idea, do you have what it takes? The skills, that's what it requires for you to be able to solve those problems. So there are so many areas in ICT. I'm not going to belabor that point. And I expect in the next even 20 years, most of the richest people will also come from that sector. This is according to my research, because our lives are becoming virtual. That is the fundamental factor. The population is increasing. People who have phones, maybe our penetration will be more than 100%. Some people have more than one phone. Everything you do is online. What does that tell you? It will create opportunities there. So there are those who are doing careers, and for the next 20 years, I think those who focus on ICT. And I remember one story about myself. Back in the year, we went for our results back in the year 2003. Yeah, because that's when results used to come, just before. And I remember I had master talked about information technology in detail. And when I did my revision for my courses, I chose computer science, and that's what I did. Out of the fact that he said most opportunities will be there. By that time, it was so hard to understand, because it's not like today when we have apps, everyone has a phone, we have M-Pesa, you can call someone. Very few people had phones, but this man could see, and he was right. That time, I think Bill Gates was not the richest person in the world. We had other people in other sectors. Now, 20 years to come, I see technology growing. Facebook just launched something called Metaverse. Of course, Google has Alpha and many other things that are coming into place. These are things I would like our young people. And you have, for technology, keep changing every day. The technology we are talking about, maybe social media, maybe that's not what is going to make people get wealthy in the future. You have to get in technology with an open mind, almost in all the sector, to know where will future careers be. You have to do your research, because there's the fields of artificial intelligence, for example, interconnected, it's called IoT, interconnected. Your fridge can be able to tell you whether there is food. There are those areas. The point is, technology will make the next millionaires and billionaires. It will continue for the foreseeable future. Let's go to number 2. Number 2, we have our sector. This is real estate. We have been talking about this for a long time. I think this looks, we pushed this point. Some people have been able to listen so many times, but it is not getting old. Right now, we have a stagnation in certain segment of the sector, especially the high-end market. And when I say this, some people will wonder, what are you talking about? What matters is the demand, the need in the market. That's where you find the wealth. Right now, we are talking about affordable housing. This is a problem the government has been solving. Why has the government decided to solve this problem? Because it's a huge problem. It's also something that you have been faced with as an organization, especially the construction sector. How can you provide an affordable house for someone at a certain cost? Then they go ahead and get a mortgage, a mama boga somewhere, and then we have them we have millions of them trying to do the same thing. It is a very complicated matrix because of the cost of our materials in a country like ours. How do you get that balance? A high quality house that is affordable and a population that can be able to get credit facility to afford these properties. It's a mix that is very difficult to balance. Something is being done. Why am I saying this? Real estate, especially in the area of affordable housing, we are developing economy. You can imagine we have an accumulated shortage of 2 million. It is real. The problem is most people, as much as we have a shortage, are not able to afford. That's where credit facilities come in. Anyone should be able to go to a bank and get a mortgage facility. You have 25,000 mortgages. The problem is financing. Most people cannot be able to access those facilities. They want to, who doesn't want to live in Karen? But let me go back to my previous point. Population growth and urbanization. That is where the matter is. All of us are coming to town. Like I said, right now is 500,000 people coming to urban centers every year. It's not a joke. How many plots are you able to sell in username investment per year? How many? That tells you the shortage. All the developers are able to provide, according to the recent research, like 50,000 units. And we need all those, we need more than 200,000 units per year. Some people will refute me, but I will tell you the problem is the financing part. Most people cannot. You go to a bank and you be able to get a mortgage. You have that need. So because of population growth and urbanization, which might even grow much, all of us, especially young people, no one wants to be in the village. Because of that, we'll have a serious shortage. People want to have nice houses. The income is increasing as well. Mortgage facilities maybe will be opened up and you can be able to take a mortgage even when you're in the informal sector. We have so many people who can take loan facilities, but the properties are not there, and that's why we come in as username investment. For the next foreseeable future, I would say even 20 years, before we sort the 2 million shortage, how much effort does it take to build 2 million houses? It's not a joke. Everyone else who is doing username, all these developers you see there, maybe they are doing something like 50,000. That's what I'm saying. That tells you the future requires all of us who are even in this room. You take 10 people at random, how many have their own homes? How many would like to go to have their own homes? I've gone to China, I've gone to the US, gone even to the UK, where almost everyone has a home. The government is also giving us homes. Where are those homes in a country like ours? Those are opportunities. So if somebody got into the real estate sector, and just like technology, you can't just get into technology in any segment and then you find opportunities there. You have to choose which segment are you getting into. It's the same thing with real estate. You can come with a lot of money as an investor, then you land somewhere in Nairobi, even as a Kenyan. Then you decide to do, say, a commercial structure in an area that is almost filled up. You don't get tenants, then you say real estate is bad. You have to be strategic, do your own research, know which segment. Right now is the affordable segment. You can be able to provide a quality home for maybe 3 to 5 million, something that is well done. It's a 3-bedroom in a way near place, somewhere you can commute daily and come back. You get a buyer for it. The problem is the materials are high. There are few people who can be able to afford that kind of money because they are not getting mortgage, and your profit margins are very low. That's the challenge that we have. Something is a problem. If you're able to solve it, we'll be able to make a lot of wealth in that sector. That is real estate for you. So it matters the segment. Let me go to the third sector. The third sector is very, very important. This is the health sector. Of course, we are coming from a COVID problem as we speak. There's a young man who is a friend of mine, met in forums. This young man has a hospital. This story has been carried in blogs as well as in newspapers. This guy has developed a private hospital, Reuben Family Hospital. I think he has won so many awards. He started by the age of 35, by 31. Let me tell you, there are so many people. And one of the questions that people have been going to India. This is from Africa. I think the amount of money spent, the billions that are spent in India by Kenyans is so many. If you had to get a similar service here, someone would make so much money. But that's just an example in the short term. In the long term, you can imagine, like I said, as the population keep growing, Number two, as people keep coming to urban centers. Number three, as people keep getting the middle class segment, making more income, getting salaried, making good businesses. That pool of people keep increasing. Their health demands, people will stop going to those small dispensers. Even right now, even in Nairobi, people have insurance. You go to private hospital because you are looking for the best medical facilities. This is something that will happen all over the country. People will be willing to pay for very good medical services. And of course, as you'd know, even in the US, people will still get sick, whether you are first world or that one. It's only that the prevalence here is much higher because of our healthcare system. We have problems in that sector. For us to be able to stop going outside the country in droves, stop going to India, we have to develop internal capacity. We have to build hospitals. We have to get local doctors who are qualified, who are very exposed. That takes a long time. And that's why you'll find even doctors who establish their own practice, they make so much money because the need is there. When you are sick, you don't have an option. This is actually like food. You must eat. You must go to the hospital when you get sick. My point is the population in Africa is increasing. And like in the West, where they are so developed, you get hospitals everywhere. In the US, you don't need to go to their capital city, like to a referral hospital. No, the hospital is just next to you. We are going there as a country because people will be willing to pay a dime for that quality health care here in the country. And even if it takes 10 years, those are sectors that people would like to invest in. So you even find very big hospitals coming here in the country. Africa is a place to invest. We are more than, I think we are more than 1 billion people. It's a market that is least exploited. It's a market that is growing. The reason investors keep coming to our country is because they can see those opportunities. Opportunities that I wish we can be able to take them ourselves. This is where money is growing. This is where the return are the highest. People are making more than 10%. In some places it's 5% or even less. You find some government giving loans at a very low interest rates because this is a market of growth. And this is something that we can take advantage of. I don't need to explain more than that. I'll go to the fourth sector, and this is very interesting, and I think this will be very big. This is the agriculture and the food sector. Let me call it the food sector. I don't want to focus so much on agriculture. We have been socialized, especially in Africa, most of us. The type of agriculture we know is the one we used to do for subsistence, for be able to keep yourself afloat, for eating, selling a few bags to pay school fees. The type of agriculture I'm talking about is the one that is done in the developed world. It's highly mechanized. This is agribusiness. You look at agriculture as a business. It's not just farming. No. This is agribusiness. And that's why most of our young people don't like it, including myself. Because the picture we have of agriculture is the one for a very hard job. You have to really depend on, of course, rain. That is erratic. The one I'm talking about is the one that is mechanized. You can actually be able to project the harvest you are going to get. It is almost, of course, it's not white collar, but it's almost done in a way that, in a corporate way, in a very professional approach, in a very business way, such that people make a lot of money. The biggest bank for a long time in China, because those guys are so many, they have to eat. It's an agricultural bank in China, and it has minted so many millionaires. So I'm looking at China in the last 30 years, then I'm looking at Africa now, because we are heading there. We'll have population growth. We'll have people who need food in the cities. The other phenomena of urbanization, people are coming to see no one is being left to farm. And we all want to have tea in the morning. We want to have milk. We want to have chapo. We want to eat food. That is a sector that is going to explode, and food is becoming very expensive. Those who are able to do modern farming, especially young people, modern farming, agribusiness, even in very small farms, using modern approaches, modern technologies, these are the people who will be able to make it, to supply these millions of people. The kind of market we have today is not very structured. And one person will come and be able to structure this market and make a lot of money. I know the mama bloggers out there. Once you structure markets, they suffer a lot. Once you have Tuskys, Naivas, and these Carrefour and big supermarket coming in, then they have their own fruit section, their own veggie section. What happens is that People start from buying from there. Then they stop buying from Mama Mboga. We are moving away from that. And very soon, people, especially even our Mama Mboga, if they are not going to find a way of surviving, they'll be phased out. A way of becoming a bit professional, branding their business as well. This is going to happen sooner than later. Otherwise, people will start spending money in places where they see a very nice place, a comfortable place, convenient. People are also ordering online as well. And these premises are even becoming cheaper, the ones that are in the supermarket. Those are things that are going to happen. But anything to do with food for the next so many years, especially in Africa, is something you'd like to focus on. Be professional, do it as a business. Don't do it the kienyeji style, the way we are used to. Do it as a business with modern technology. That's a sector to watch, and I suspect in the next 20 years, 20 to 50 years, you'll find so many rich people in the agricultural sector. The last one I would like to highlight is manufacturing. This is the commodity market. I would call it the consumables. We call them fast-moving consumer goods. Consumable market. Same concept, same logic. Population, urbanization, the growth of middle class. And we have so many in this sector. Manufacturing is something that have made the developed world what it is today. You know about China. How is China the way China is? Because of manufacturing, the industrialization. And this is a debate that I think we need to have as a country, even in Africa. The value additions. You don't sell avocados, instead you sell cosmetics. You sell whatever comes out of avocados. Instead of selling mangoes, we sell juices. We export juices. This is value addition. The same thing for when you have oil refineries in countries. You don't sell crude oil for countries that produce oil. You sell refined products. You might find the value of, for example, if you are processing nuts, for example, if you are to sell nuts, the value of selling 1 kg of nut when it is not processed is a fifth. What I'm saying, if you process maybe 1 kilo, you can make 5 times if you do value additions. And this cuts across sectors. We produce, in Nyandarua, we produce potatoes and so many food products. If you look at Makueni and stuff like that, they produce mangoes. Of course, the county government, they have tried something. Value addition, this is where manufacturing comes in. Anything we get out of the country, whether it's in agriculture, whether it is in mining, is processed here. The cost is very heavy. Number 2, and this is where the opportunity comes in the manufacturing sector. In China, if you look, for example, you have something called cottage industries. Very powerful, such that you'll find someone in the village manufacturing some of these cases. And I saw one story in Kirinyaga about a young man who is manufacturing cables. Very impressive. Imagine we can have 1 million of such enterprises. Someone is manufacturing slippers, tires, plastic, cables, parts of a camera like this one, parts of like all these mechanisms, parts of phones which you can be able to do. Then you have young people. You see, this is about fashion. People move with fashion. People move with what is trending. We make it so trending or so catchy, so attractive for people to find us as a way. Imagine being able to explore these cases all over the world and they are being produced, say in Nyandarua, for example. This is something that we can be able to do. Talk about toothpick, which is used as a bad example every time you want to show that we are not able to do anything as a country. We can't even manufacture toothpicks. We can do all these things. And for me, I see a big opportunity for us to be able to industrialize, build all these roads, pay all our debts. We need to empower so many people. I know there are so many concepts that I'm not going to discuss those concepts in the political scenes. This is not about politics, it's about reality. If you look at China, how did they develop? You go out there, you encourage people to be able to industrialize from the smallest to the biggest. Of the government plays a big role in policies and stuff like that. They also play a big role in big lifting because we have big things like building dams. You have to leave it to the government. There are big lifting that need to be done, that need to be set up. Go to Singapore, for example. That's another approach they use. This was government-led. That's why there are people who say China did encourage the cottage industries. But if you look at Singapore, because I've read their book and studied their approach, this is the government trying to make the country so attractive to foreign investors. If you look at Singapore, for example, they attracted everyone, all the manufacturers in the world, American companies, the cheap companies, phone companies, the big companies you can talk about, all went there to manufacture their things. And that's how Singapore developed. It's about industrialization. The approach matters, but we can combine all the approaches. But that's about government. Those are my views about how we can go about it. But as an individual, what manufacturing means to you, we don't have a choice as a country. We'll have to, right now we make so many things. We have juices that are developed in the country. There are people who do plastic, even steel and stuff like that. But we have not done it to a level where we can have autonomy. We can have our own products processed here in the country in a mass that is supposed to be. And I suspect a progressive government will be forced to do this. So I'm looking at the next 20 years and realizing we want most things that we consume, anything including this jean, this shoe, this phone, to be produced here locally. That is something that we don't have a choice to do. And Africa is heading there. If you look at the innovation like M-Pesa, which has worked so well in a country like ours, I believe this is where we are standing. It shows that we can be able to do something for ourselves. This has given a certain image to our country. This is something that we are also exporting. Pesa has gone to South Africa, going to Ethiopia right now, which has more than 100 million people. Who knows? It might become an African people. It might become an African the way we have Apple and stuff like that. We have so many other innovations that can be there. We have so many other small industries that can be developed. And I look at manufacture as one of the areas, because we need to supply these consumable to all of us, including processing milk. We need to do that here locally. We stop depending on China. Maybe they can provide the big machinery as we do knowledge transfer as time goes by. But trust you me, in the next 20 years, you'll find a good number of things that are not made locally. They'll be made in Kirinyaga, they'll be made in Turkana, they'll be made in Siaya, they'll be made in Laikipia. Who is going to do that? All these young people. And that's why we are doing some of these videos to say, if you have to choose a career in that field of our business, you are going the right angle. That is my research on those 5 areas. We talked about technology, we talked about real estate, we talked about the health sector, we've talked about the food sector, this is agriculture, agribusiness, and now we have talked about the manufacturing sector. For me, I believe the next 20 to 50 years, that's where opportunities will be. The sub-sectors is something that you have to research about. These are big sectors. You have to look at what needs do people have on the ground for you to be able to make the right decision. As I finish, I would like to say this. One of the things I've learned in business, you have to be in the right place. You have to be in the right environment. You have to choose the right business to do. Opportunity is something that comes. There are needs in the society. You'd rather go to a lake full of fish, and maybe you are not a very good fisherman, instead of going to a lake with no fish, and maybe you are a professor in fishing. You'll get nothing. But just an average guy going to a lake full of fish, they'll be able to catch something. What am I saying? Be strategic in your choice of business, your choice of career in future. And I think those 5 areas, according to me, are places where people will be able to make a lot of money, be it in terms of jobs, careers, businesses, and investors alike. And we are watching, especially in Africa. As Username Investment, we are also watching the space. We want to be able to impact our people. Be 1 billion people, not just in Kenya, in Africa. 1 billion people. And I believe you can also do the same in your own small way, big way, depending on what God has given you. Thank you so much for watching us. We believe you'll be able to watch us. Once more, comment down there. Subscribe to our channel, like our Facebook page. Follow us on Instagram. My channel is Reuben Kimani KE. Look for me everywhere, from LinkedIn, from Instagram, from Facebook, from YouTube, Reuben Kimani KE. You can as well follow Username Investment Limited, red and green in Facebook, Username Invest in Twitter. Look for Username Investment. Looking forward to seeing you much later. Please tell us which other sectors you believe will become a big thing, the next big thing in the next 20 to 50 years in Africa, and we'll be able to appreciate. We also will be able to engage you, we'll be able to answer your question. Have a good afternoon. God bless you. See you next time.